Hi. Um, this is gonna be kind of weird because I haven't made a YouTube video in years, like talking to the camera in years. But I have been saying for a while that I am going to do a HPPD update video, and I just haven't. I have a few times I would record it and then nothing. So, I'm gonna stay good on my word and just go ahead and do that update. Today is May 30th of 2025, and I am currently 32 years old now, and I'll be 33 in August. And I have been living with HPPD for about almost 5 years now. I want to preface by saying that while yes, I do have this disorder, it doesn't define my life. And honestly, I feel like I'm doing much better and things have gotten better. So I just wanted to share this update. That way I give other people hope. So, I guess I can start with what is it that I still have that I consider still having this disorder. So I do still get after images of certain bright colors, like usually neon colors, like neon yellow, orange, green, that kind of thing. If I'm like staring at it and then I do this or I like look away, I still see the, after image of it. I still get after images of lights, which makes for an interesting drive on the way home at nighttime. And then if I'm like really hungry, like if I'm still in like a fasted state, is more prominent. I don't know why that is. That's just always been how it's been. If I'm in a fasted state, I feel like my symptoms, such as my after images, are more prevalent. They're just more there and they last a little longer. And sometimes I get like after images of just like my surroundings. It doesn't necessarily have to be a light or a certain color. It can just be my surroundings. I don't know if it's the light reflecting off of the objects around me or what. But yeah. I do want to say though, my after images are not as scary as they used to be. They last anywhere between 5 to 20 seconds. Just depends how long I'm staring at it. And that's really pretty much it, how long I'm staring at it. When I'm driving or I'm moving past objects, particularly like cars or trees, I do see this weird like trail from them. I don't know what that's about, and I don't really know the terminology of what to call that. But I do see trails from objects that are moving fast. I sometimes see like outlines against people. If I'm staring, it's usually like a white just outline hovering like over their, their body or whatever. I still, when I close my eyes, I can still see a little bit of like colors. They're not like extremely there, like I'm on a full-blown psychedelic trip, but they're kind of just like opaque, if that makes sense. Like they're transparent, they're just there, but they're not strong. I still see this X in the middle of my vision, which when I did a bunch of psychedelics, I would see this X in the middle of my vision, and that would like transform into weird stuff. But I still see that sometimes if I focus hard enough. But other than that, honestly, I have been doing much better. I do not have DPDR, which is depersonalization or derealization. And for those of you who don't know, that is essentially where you don't feel real. You feel like you're in a movie and that everything out here is fake. That was honestly the scariest part of having HPPD, was also having that, because you know, when you're seeing after images of everything and your outside world already looks warped, and then you have DPDR, it's a recipe for disaster. The main thing for me is I have been remaining sober. I have been sober for, I think, like 2 years, I believe. Now I have had a drink here or there, but you know, drinking was never my vice. It's still not, but I stay sober from everything. Just, you know, for the sake of this disorder, but also religious beliefs. It's just not part of my beliefs to not be sober minded, and you know, putting myself in these weird states of mind that, you know, I could go into it from a religious side, but I want to keep this as unbiased as possible. So that has helped a lot, was, you know, being sober. I you know, I just do things that I enjoy and that fulfill my life. You know, I have a strong community and support system, and I am just doing a lot better. And I wish that I could say that this is for everybody. And what I mean by, well, let me back up. What I mean by that is, I wish that it was this easy for everybody, because, you know, I know that there's people out there that have this, and they have, you know, their symptoms are still worse, and it's like years later, or you're just getting this disorder and you feel alone and helpless and scared. And I just want to encourage you that while right now you may not be 100%, that doesn't mean in the future you will not be in a better place. You know, there were days where it was so hard to get through having this disorder. And the ways that I got over it was, again, community, friends. I did things for my body to feel more connected to myself. I feel like sometimes HPPD makes us not feel connected to us anymore. And it kind of is like this smoke over, you know, our life. So do things that uplift and fulfill you. Exercise was a really good one for me, and going on walks, getting back into gardening, and, you know, my love for nature, you know, photography, art, you know, anything that makes you you, like whatever interests you have. Yeah. You know, I will say probably like a year, no, that summer that I uploaded my breakdown, I did, let me pull it up. I did fall into addiction pretty bad with like nitrous, and I did psychedelics again, and it didn't really make things worse for me as far as my HPPD went, but it was not a good decision for me mentally. This was now like 3 years ago when that happened. You know, I left home. My grandfather had died, and, you know, I watched him die, and it really messed me up. So I turned to drugs, and that was like a whole summer bender. And then, you know, I just realized that I didn't want to live like that anymore, and it was not serving me a purpose, and it hurt my family. You know, it hurt my grandmother, who I was supposed to be there for. And that's when I decided to just get sober, like completely, and at least start that journey. Like, you know, there's always slip ups for some people. I'm thankful that I have been sober for 2 years though, and that has really done wonders for my mental state of mind. So I don't know where I was going with sharing that, but I've been through a lot since I've had this disorder. I've been through trauma, really bad trauma, and I feel like in some way trauma helped, which I don't recommend this. Like, don't go out and put yourself in dangerous situations, but for me personally, I feel like going through trauma, it was like physical trauma, drug trauma, relationship trauma, just all kinds of trauma, really helped me ground back into my body, because I had to go into survival mode. And HPPD was kind of put on the back burner when you're trying to survive. So that kind of helped, besides the exercise thing. That's where I was going. Yeah, I wish I had a concrete answer of like what has worked for me. I'm just kind of sharing a little bit. And yeah, I've given my life over to Jesus as well, and that has helped me tremendously as far as staying grounded and really finding my not really calling, but I guess just finding the type of life that I want to live. But like I said, I don't want to go too much into religion. I just want to share what has been working for me. And that's pretty much it. I might do another update video in another year, 2 years, whatever, just check in. I'm always open to anybody messaging me, commenting to me. If you need any advice and you're going through this, just reach out. I have no trouble whatsoever talking to you, giving you advice, or just listening. So I hope this helped, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.